This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So in this session, I'm going to discuss about functions in Python. So what is function and what is the main advantage or benefit of the function we'll discuss. So strictly remember functions topic is very important, and in Python compulsory we use this topic like functions. Everywhere in every programming language function topic is very important because the advantage is more uh, with functions. So first, what is function? What is function? So function is a statement. Function is a statement or group of statements. Group of statements. Function is a statement or group of statement which is used to perform specific task. Which is used to perform specific task, we can say that, which is used to perform specific task. So function is a statement or group of statement which is used to perform specific task. So when do we use functions? For example, if it is required to write repeatedly number of statements in your program, so instead of writing repeatedly same number of lines of code, so we can place that number of lines of code under one small unit, and that unit we can able to reuse repeatedly when it is required. That unit name is called function, we can say that. For example, you can see I have a program here. So this program is going to shows clearly. Now you can see printer, printer, hello. I want to display 10 times hello. Then what I need to do? 10 times I have to print a hello statement. Yes. But if you want to display 100 times hello, then 100 times you have to write it or not, like this. So how many number of times you want to print a hello, that many number of print statements is required to write. But I mean to say, instead of writing this with repeated code number of times, how many times you can see this total code you can keep under one small unit, and that unit you can call when it is required. That unit name is called what we can say function, we can say that. So the advantage of function mainly is reusability. The main purpose of function is the purpose main purpose of function is reusability, reusability and avoid repetition of the code. Repetition of the code. Yes, we are going to avoid repetition of the code. We are not going to repeat the code. So the main purpose of function is reusability. Once we create logic under one function, that function we can call it any number of times as per your requirement. And to avoid repetition of the code repeatedly, no need to write code again and again. So one time is enough to write. This is the main advantage of function purpose. And generally there are two different types of functions are there. One is built-in functions or else predefined functions, we can say that. Built-in or predefined functions. Predefined functions. Next one is user-defined functions. User-defined functions means what? User can define the functions as per its own requirement. So user-defined functions. Built-in functions automatically will become when we install Python software. Like what are the built-in functions? Print is a built-in function, which is for output. Input is a built-in function, which is for input. ID is a built-in function. Type is a built-in function. Lot of built-in functions are there, whatever we discussed so far. Even in the data structures we discussed, like length of the string. Length is a built-in function. Okay, sort method. Sort is a built-in function. Max, minimum, so many methods. Count, index, all are built-in methods, which will come automatically when we install Python software. But user-defined functions means not. So you have to create as per your own requirement. That is called user defined functions. How to prepare user defined function and what is the syntax is there in Python for user defined function. Now we will discuss. So observe here. So to create user defined function, this syntax must be required. Def is a keyword. Then after that, function name, brackets, parameters are input values, colon compulsory required, and after that doc string means documentation string. Then after that here any valid statements and return statement, we can say that return statement. Observe here. So I want to explain this complete syntax. So def is a keyword in Python to define a function. This is compulsory. Function name can be of any name, no problem at all. Any name you can take, but it must be valid. How it should be valid, sir? Yes, as I said in the beginning sessions, identifiers. I was discuss about identifiers. Identifier rules are there, 8 rules. That rules same as is applicable for function name also. Function name should not start with a digit. Function name should not be two parts. Function name should not be any keyword name like this. These are the rules are there, no? So case sensitive function name. So how the way we mentioned, same way how to call it. So all rules are applicable for this function name. So function name can be uniquely identify any valid name you can consider as a function name. Yes. And after that parameters are there. So these parameters are input values to the function. Means if the function is having some parameters, while calling the function, compulsory you should supply parameter values. Otherwise, function will not work. Function will give error. So parameters are input values to the function. So while calling the function compulsory, we have to pass parameter values. So otherwise function will give error. And including parameters are optional, sir, not compulsory. These are called optional, we can say that. Including parameters are optional, we can say that, not compulsory required. And colon is compulsory required. This is end of the function header only. So ending of the function header indicates colon. Starting of the function header indicates def function. And doc string is nothing but documentation string. Documentation string, we can say. Documentation string means it's a description about your function. Description about your function, we can say that. Description about your function means just for what purpose you are trying to create a function that you can write as a description, no problem at all. This is called documentation string, we can say that. Understand? It is optional, not required every time. And statements are compulsory required because this will make function body. What task you want to perform using this function, that task you have to represent in the form of statements, valid statements. Any valid statements will make the function body, we can say that. And return statement is optional here. Return is a keyword. So if you want to return something to the calling place, then we can use return statement. Otherwise, not required return statement. I'll tell you clearly difference between without return statement, with return statement. What is the difference? I'll tell you in the practical things. So this is function, what we can say, syntax to create a function. Now let's see the practical implementation. As I said that where exactly we can use function means, so if we want to repeatedly write the code, so to execute these lines of code, like when we execute this code, how many times hello is printing? 4 times. But here 4 more times, if you want to print hello means what we can do? 4 more lines we have to increase. Yes, we have to increase. So how much lines you can increase, keep on. So that's what better to do, what actually, how many times you want to execute, that many 4 number of lines you can include inside the function. Every time it's going to be called that function. Now you can see def is a function keyword. This is def defining the function. My function name is f1. Then no parameters I'm taking, colon is compulsory required, and here function body I'm writing valid statements. Now this is called creating a function, sir. It is first time I'm trying to create here. This is creating a function. But creating a function is how it is important to you. Then when we execute now, you can see nothing will happen because calling the function also very important, sir. Yes, you are not calling the function here. you must and should call the function. So without calling a function will not work. Now you can see here, calling a function. How to call? Here I'm calling. So now you can see, as soon as when we call this function, so function is going to do its task, what I'm assigned that. So hello, hello, 4 times it's going to do. This is called function statements. In this situation, if you want to display 4 more times hello, then no need to increase 4 more print statements. Just we can call 1 more time function. Then you can see 8 times you are getting output called hello. So that's what it is. Again, 1 more time also I can call. If once we create a function, you can call that function repeatedly whenever it is required, wherever it is required. So this is the advantage of functions. Even though this code is also not suitable sometimes. Why? Because, sir, I would like to print 100 times hello. Then 100 times means here 4 times only there. Then how many times you have to call the function? Minimum 25 times you have to call the function like this, but that's not good idea. So I can write logic code also inside the function. So how it is, for loop through we can use for I in range of 100 times I want to print hello, then every time it's going to print hello. So 1 time calling is enough function here. Now you can see this function is going to be called once, it's going to print 100 times hellos. Yes. And even if you want to display for clarity purpose, display in the same horizontal horizontal orientation, then we can use this end attribute. Now you can see this hello is going to print 100 times clearly. Is it? Yes. So this is the advantage of the function. Imagine that there is no function concept, and if you want to display same output like as we seen, so you need to write some 100 print statements. That is good? No, it's not good. So it will work for sure, but what happen actually, your code grows larger and larger, and readability of the program is typical, and performance also decrease. So when we write huge number of lines of code, so it's keep on executing the code, it takes time. So it is very simple way, whatever you want to write something, the logic, that logic we can place under the function, and you can call it whenever it is required, wherever it is required. This is what exactly function concept. Actually, purpose of the function is, main advantage of the function is reusability of the code, and to avoid repetition of the code, we are avoiding complete repetition of the code only here. This is function creation and function calling like this. Next, here we don't have any parameters. Here we don't have any parameters. I'm trying to do with function with parameters here. Can you please rewrite using input param? Yeah, I can use input parameter. Yes, we can use. So we can now we can see we can use parameters also here. So I'm using parameters now. How to do the parameters with functions now? Suppose here my requirement is, here I'm giving parameter called name. So I want to say something to the user, print hello. I want to say to whom I want to say name. So name. So compulsory while calling the function will expect the name parameter, but you are not supplying the parameter. So you know that very well. When we call the function, when we have the function with parameter, that parameter value must and should specify. But here you can see f1 missing one required positional argument name. Name is missing here, so you need not to you need to pass the function with the name. So I'm going to pass name, like Mohan is my input, so function will work hello Mohan, it's saying like this. And even if you want to show someone to hello, then we can say Sai, then run hello Mohan and hello Sai, like this it's coming like this. Understand? So this is function with parameter. One parameter is there. This is called parameter name. And even you can take this values input at running time also, no problem. So I want to go with 2 parameters values, function with 2 parameters. Now you can see add function is there, and here you can say a comma b is there, a comma b, and I want to do this here sum is, then what I need to do, logic a plus b, and you have to call the function called add function. How many arguments it will pass? It will expect 2 arguments. Then immediately 10 value goes to a, 20 value goes to B, then what is happening here? A plus B, it's coming like this only here, A plus B. Now run test. Now you can see sum is 30, it's coming. And if you want to call one more time function with the different inputs, now you can see 23.4 and 56. So is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Now you can see run test. Now you can see 79.4, it's coming. Function is calling like this. This is what actually input values. But input values runtime also you can accept. Yes, how to accept runtime? You can see this. Either you can go with a equals to int of input of enter num1, and same time I'm trying to do b equals to int of input of enter num2. So two numbers I'm entering at running time. That numbers I'm passing to the variable function a comma b. So now observe here, we are accepting the values at runtime, and that values through I'm calling the function test.py. Now you can see enter num1 100, 200, num2, then sum is 300 is coming. Or else we can go through like this. Why don't you call these values here itself in place of a here? Yes, we can call, and here also we can able to do this, no problem at all. This also correct process, no problem at all. Add while calling the function, I'm expecting two values, a, that too I'm accepting value at running time, input function I'm using, and next value b, both are asking like this. Now you can see, let's run this. Now a value I'm giving 23, b value 45, it's coming 68, it's coming. So this is what adding a function, or adding two numbers of two numbers, sum of two numbers adding function. And at the same time we can create number of functions as per your requirement. For example, I want to find out square of given number. So n is my input number. I need to find square of given number. Now square is or else square of comma n is, square of n is what I need to say. Then n into n I need to say square. Then we have to call the function with the 3 value, if you want to find out square of 3, and you have to call the function with again different value if you want to find out 5 square. Then run this. Now you can see this, we got square of 3 is 9, square of 5 25, it's coming like this. It's pretty simple actually, straightforward function creation with what square of given numbers. And at the same time we can create a function with to find the biggest of two numbers, accept two numbers at runtime, and which number is biggest number if you want to consider. Then we can prepare function like uh, big is a function name, and a comma b. Then you can see if a greater than b, if a greater than b, then colon what I need to say, print a is big, a is big, we can say that. Now here else what I need to say, print what we can say, b is big, we can say that b is big. So where we are calling the function, yes, while calling it has to expect it will expect some input values. So enter num1, and also I'm calling b equals to int of input of enter num2, also I'm doing enter num2 like this. Now just I'm accepting two values, just based on the condition I'm checking, I'm deciding that which one is the biggest of two numbers here. It's pretty simple actually, straightforward. So I'm giving 6 and 2, then which is biggest number? 6 is the biggest number, just based on condition. That means what I want to say you, inside the function you can write any type of valid logic, no matter it is. So through that logic you can able to get it clearly here. Okay, so here I'm giving 3 and 9, 9 is the biggest number, it's coming. So this is what function creation with parameters like this, multiple parameters, finding biggest of numbers here. So finding two numbers, adding, and square of given number to find whichever biggest number. And even you can able to check out whether it is even number or odd number your given number is. For example, a only I'm taking, so my input is a only, so I want to find out whether it is even number or odd number. So now you can see function name I'm taking is even, it's a function name. Then how I can check out if a modulus 2 equal to 0, then what we can say a is even, or else we can say a is what's our odd number, we can say that odd number. So we are calling the function called is even function, is even, and the number we are expecting at running time. Now you can see I'm giving my number is 8, 8 is even, and it is going to say like this. Now I'm giving my number is 9, 9 is odd, like this it's going. So it's pretty simple, actually straightforward. What we discussed so far, the same code only, but we are keeping that same code under the function and for reusability and recall every time when it is required for you. So this is function topic what I discussed, and I am asking to you uh, how to find biggest of three numbers here. Yes, two numbers it's okay, but biggest of three numbers I want to find out. Okay, so let me write that three numbers, biggest of three numbers, how to do this. So the logic will be different completely. Now you can see, first of all I need to accept the three numbers at runtime quickly. So int of input of, or else directly also numbers you can take, no problem at all. Enter num1 and b equals to int of input of, enter num2, 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 and c equals to int of input of, enter num3. Three numbers I have ready with three numbers. Now I want to calculate that. How it is calculated now? You can see this. I'm going to create a function df. Big is a function name. A comma b comma c will take. Now my condition is if a greater than b and b greater than c. Yes, and is a logical operators. A greater than b and b greater than c. What I need to do? A is big. A is big. Okay, and here A is big. Then what we need to do? Elif I have to use. Elif. Then what I need to do? So A greater than b and b greater than c. Sorry. A greater than b and a greater than c. That is what A value is big. It is more than b and more than c. A is big. But b, when it will become big actually here. So elif b greater than c, a and b greater than c. Okay, b greater than c. Then what I need to say here? B is big. Yes or no? B is big. Else finally what is big, sir? C is big, because we are comparing with two numbers. Then C is big ultimately. Now you can pass any values. This is the code exactly. We have to call the function with the big value. I'm calling the function big, and a b c I'm passing, or else here only we can able to capture that. And operator I'm using. Now you can see this. So I'm comparing with three values. Now I'm giving enter num1 34, enter 23, enter 12. Now 34 is the biggest value. Okay, just checking the condition. And now I would like to enter in different style. First number only 12, and next number only 78, and next number only 45. Now you can see 78 is big. See, b is value big. And now I'm entering some 12 and 34 and 56. Oh, okay, no problem. Now you can see 9874 is a big value. Ultimately everything is fine. So this is the way to do the logic actually with the different conditions. Accept three numbers, and we have to text three numbers. If a greater than b and a greater than c, both conditions need to be required, and means both conditions need to be satisfied. And here elif b greater than a and b greater than c. B value should, when it will be big number, it's more than a and more than c, then it is big. Then finally c is only big, else part it is. Last value only we are comparing. Okay. So no need to compare c value again, because already compare with the a value, compare with c, and b value compare with c. That's what it is. C, no need to compare, straight away we can use it clearly. This is about finding biggest of three numbers like this. Okay. And one more important thing, so far whatever we discussed, the function, it's a straightforward function and without any return statements. According to function definition, you can see we created function with the name, parameters, and we have given statements. It's okay. But are you using return statement, return keyword? No. So why return keyword here? What is the use of return keyword? It's a simple thing actually. Function return keyword is optional to use, I said. Without return keyword also you can able to work out. So only the thing is function with return keyword, without return keyword, what is the difference means? Function with return statement means what we can say, function with return statement means whenever we call the function will do the task, it will perform some operation, and it will return result value to the calling place by using return statement. It will return to the result value to the calling place. Without return statement, what happen? Function will do the task and it will perform the task, and after completion of task result will be print by function itself. It will not giving result value to the calling place. I will tell you clear example now. You can see this. So take this example as a return statement without return statement. Now you can see this. I am going to here square of n is square. I am calling function square of 3. 3 value goes to n. N into n, 3 into 3, 3 9. 9 only here only printing or not? Yes, it is printing here only. Here it is not going to return to the calling place. So it's not going to return to the calling place. Function only printing the value here. So simply square of 3 square of 5 is coming like this. But I am not going to be use this print statement, sir. I'm just commenting now. I want to return statement here. Return n into n. Return n into n. Now you can see return n into n means what? It is going to return 3 into 3 9. It's not going to print here. It's going to return to you. You means here calling place here. It will return result value to the calling place. But are you printing result value? No. That's what you will not get any result. You can see this. Okay. You have to print. That's compulsory. Now you can see print a square of 3. Print a square of 3. Now here also we have to print square of 3, square of 5. So you have to print compulsory return values. Now you can see, let's run this. Now run sample. Now you can see 9, 25, it's coming like this. Understand? So this is what actually a return statement with return statement, without return statements. So function is going to return result value to the calling place. This is square of 3, 9, square of 5, 25, it's coming. Now here function without return statement means no return statement, means return statement is not there, means it is going to print here itself. You need not to print separately again. Now function only printing the values, so no need to print the values. What happen if you still print the values? Now you can see none, none. Understand? It's not going to return anything here. 9 value here only printed, but again you are printing none is there. Here it is none is there, nothing is there to print, so it is already printed. That's what it is showing, none, none. Nothing will return. That makes sense. Okay, so clearly this return statement and without return statement I have shown as per your requirement. If you want to return the values, you can return, or else if you want to print the direct values in the function itself, then you can use print statement here, no problem at all, as per your requirement here. So this is actually tell me, sir, what is the benefit of using return function? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The benefit is not there. See, the return statement when it is required means, suppose uh, we are in the same program actually. Sometimes we can use in further sessions, I will tell you. Sometimes what is happening, we are creating function somewhere and we are calling that function in some other place. So function will do the task in some place and task result will give to the exactly particular place, means other location. If you want to return to there, then we can use return statement. That is, I want to return values to the particular location. Yes, I have to send the values. That is called return statement. Or else you don't want to send values to anywhere, then you only print in your program. Then don't use return statement. Straight away we can use functions clearly. Okay, so every time you are expecting some result from the function and you can use return, or you don't want to do the result, you are not expecting result values from the function, straight away you are going to assign some task to the function will do the task and function will print the result here. This is return statement and without return statement. It's pretty simple, sir. You have a created function in one program, but you want to return that values to other program, then we can use return statement. But here we have created function in the same program, we are calling the function in the same program, then no need to return the values directly, print the values inside the function. So as per your convenience. So uh, doing task in one location and sending the result to some other location, then we can go with return statement clearly. Return statement clearly, yes. Yeah, exist or not, yeah, compulsory, you have to create. Without function creating, then it will not work. Functions definition should be there, no? Yes, you have to be there, compulsory. Function should be there. Otherwise, it is not at all. Function name without knowing, then how we can call? If you want to create if you want to call the function, compulsory function should be there. Otherwise, it will not execute. It will not work out.
So my
Anywhere
question
it's
is,
hmm,
so my
tell me.
question is, so let's suppose one developer created the square function. So
Hmm.
some other developer wants to use that sphere function. So how do we know that the sphere function is existing in that project?
Compulsory, they're having some architectural diagram. So according to that, they have to call. Without that, how they can know that? Compulsory should be there. So that's what actually in real time what the people will do. I understand your doubt. Suppose we are the two developers, I created one function particular time, so I'm asking you to call the function, then function name it will be, for example, if I change the name of the function, it will not work out because name conflict will be there. So that's what in real time, the name, avoiding name conflicts. So clearly the guidelines will be given to the all programmers. You should mention the same name continuously throughout the entire the project development. They don't have any right to change the names or name the definition of the function, change the definition of the function. It's not possible, undoubtedly. See, the thing is, yes, the thing is, one more thing. If you want to know that whether existing function is there, you can able to get it through modules concept. Modules is nothing but actually we can reuse that complete module into other programs. You can able to get module description whether it is there or not. In that module, we have some functions or not. You can able to check out. So module name, help of module we can able to get. That I will discuss in the module concept after completion of functions. Immediately I'll start modules. No, at the time I'll discuss clearly. No problem at all. So this is function with return statement with the without return statement clearly. Now I'm saying here, function in Python, functions will return a multiple values also, not single value. Yes, it's very important. Functions will return multiple values also, but returning the multiple values are important, or returning the multiple values are better option or not better option. It's depend on situations are. So I'm going to tell you straight away here one simple example with a function without with return multiple values, without return multiple values. Now you can see this. I'm saying function will return multiple values also. Is this better or not? You can see, you can decide it. So here you can see sum underscore sub. It's my function name, a comma b, and I'm doing sum equals to a plus b. Then I'm doing sub equals to a minus b, and return sum comma sub, sum comma sub, and x comma y equals to, I want to store the result value into some variables, x comma y equals to sum and sub. Then what values I'm passing here, 20 and 10. Then print sum is x, then print sub is, then y. Understand? Y. Now let's run this sample.py. Now you can see this sum is 30, sub is what, 10. We can say that sum is 30, sub is what, 10. We can say that. Understand? So what is happening here? This function I'm calling with the two arguments 10, 20, and function is doing what, taking the values a value 20, b value 10, and it's doing 30 and it's doing 20, 10. It's doing both multiple tasks and return two multiple values. You can see sum, and sum is going to return and sub is going to return. So this function is going to return multiple values to the function sum and sub. So x comma y it's going to store. But is this good practice or not good practice? But I can say according to situation you have to go this approach. Yes, according to the situation you have to go to this approach, actually I'm saying. So what is the situations are exactly according to the situation means, in this example, even though this sum and sub function is doing multiple tasks like sum and sub, can you ask to the function don't to do sum and only you can do sub? Can you do? No, it's not possible. Once we assign the task to this function, multiple tasks, and this function completely every time it's going to perform multiple operations. But imagine that not only sum, here it is I'm taking multiply equals to a into b. Okay, multiply equals to a into b, and div equals to a by b. I'm doing div equals to a by b. I want to return multiply, and also I want to return division, and I'm going to take x comma y comma z, and also what we can say d. It's my parameter. Now you can see I'm doing print x comma y, sum and sub. I'm just placing one more thing here, multiply and division. But this is not good practice some certain period, because so if we assign something to this function, it's going to do as it is whatever it is, whatever we assign. But here sometimes you don't want to what we can say find out add and sum and sub you don't want. So will you say to the function, please function don't to do this time sum and sub, please give it only you can do multiply and division and give it to me? No. Whatever we assign the functionality, whatever we assign the task to the function, that function immediately will do that complete task. So sometimes you don't want to do some task, and sometimes you do all tasks. It is not possible with this function. But this is not good practice in reality. As per my consideration, one function you can assign only one task, that will be good for you. So in what situation it will be good for you? Yes, we can assign multiple tasks to the multiple function. Whichever it is required, you can call it, and whichever it is not required, you don't call, ignore it, no problem at all. Sir, even if you don't use print, it will return the output. No, sir, as we are using return. Yes, it will return. So you don't want to return to the calling. It will return, but you are not going to be take the values. No, that's what I'm saying. Even if you don't use print, it will return the print. It will return, but are you printing? Are you showing the output? It will return to the calling places, both the ways, but you are not going to print. But here only I'm printing, no? So that's what function through it is going to print. If you want to print, you can also print here sum and sub and all, no problem at all. It depends on your requirement actually. I said that clearly, creating the function in one program and transferring the values to other program, then we can use return to calling place. Yes, that's what I'm saying. See, simple, the thing is return keyword can be used only for returning the value to the calling place. Returning the values to the calling place. Okay. You want to expect some values to the calling place, then we can use return to the result value. Otherwise not required. Directly also you can able to print a statement. We can use that. See, the thing is return keyword when we use means if you want to hold result value in some separate variable, then we can store into that result value in separate variable by returning the values. Otherwise not required. Now the thing is what exactly here you can see in this situation, one function is going to return multiple values. Understand? Multiple values. Now I'm saying that straight away, can you able to stop the function do not execute for some of the functionalities? No, you can't stop the function to do not execute this sum and sub multiply. Once we assign whatever the operation, whatever the options we have, now you can see sum and sub and multiply division, whatever the option we have. Once we have these all options, then what we can say, everything it can be do that. You cannot stop the execution of some of the functions. So in this case, what is the drawback? Sometimes I need only multiplication, but whenever we call this function, function will do sum and sub and multiply and division, but you are using only multiply. But only using multiply purpose, why you are asking the function to do a multiple task? That is waste of time, no? That's what I'll not recommend this situation. Yes, this situation is strongly recommend when really need for you at one shot. One shot means one time I can call the function, sir, everything I should come, I should display, I should perform all operations at once. Means this is best suitable. But all the time it's not suitable. Even though we have you have multiple tasks with the function, and some of the cases only one task is enough for you, then what we can do? We have to call the function or not? Yes. If we call the function, is that going to do only required task for you? No, it will do whatever we assigned previously. It will do entire the task, but you required only one simple logic. But for one of the simple logic purpose, why you are asking to the function to do all multiple tasks, burden onto the function is there. So it will take responsive time will be decreased. So that's what I suggest you. Create multiple functions. It's not a big deal. So create multiple functions for specific task. Then whenever you want to execute that function, you can call it. If you don't want to execute that function, you just ignore it. No problem at all. Ignoring is it's simple actually here. So you can ignore it, no problem at all. So easily we can able to ignore it is no problem at all. So that is the good practice actually in reality. So assigning one task to a one function is best suitable in real time. So a convenient way you can able to call the function easily. So that is what we are doing here. So function with the single task we are doing. So it is also just I want to show you example called function can do any number of tasks and any number of returning the values also is possible. Okay. So this is function description and function basic things what we discuss now. So now we will discuss two things actually, that is simple things. Types of variables in functions are there. Types of variables in functions. Types of variables in functions. What are the types of variables in functions here? There are exactly two types of variables. And can we make user defined function in Python? Yeah, this is user defined function only, no? Hello. This is user defined function only. I created my function name. But predefined functions are, this is predefined function, print, id, type, all those things. This is my user defined function only. I prepared, this is our own name actually. This is also user defined function. Big is a function name. This is a user defined function. Is even is a function name. These are all, I'm creating my own functionality here. I'm calling that. These are all user defined function. Predefined functions automatically it will come. No need to prepare. Types of variables in functions. There are two types of variables in functions. One is local variables. Next one is global variables. Global variables. Global variables. Local variables and global variables, we can say that. What is local variables here? The variables which are declared inside the function, the variables which are declared inside the function, and that variables are available to only that function is called local variables. Next, local variables cannot access outside of the function. We can say that local variables cannot access outside of the function. The variables which are declared inside the function and that variables are available to only that function is called local variables, and local variables cannot access outside of the function. We can say it's not possible once we declare local variables. Now global variables means global variables means the variables which are declared the variables which are declared, outside of the function, and that variables are available to all functions in that program is called global variables. We can say that the variables which are declared outside of the function, and that variables are available to all functions in that program to access, that called global variables. And local variables means in which function you created that variable, in that same function only we can access, other function we cannot access. Now let's try to do this now. Okay, so for example, I have a function here, def f1. F1 is a function. A equals to 10, print A. So A is 10. This A variable is completely belongs to what functions are F1 function. df f2. Now B equals to 20. Then print B. So B is 20. It's completely B variable belongs to F2 function. We can able to access inside the F2 only. Now I'm calling F1 and F2. What is the result? Straight away A and B values are coming. It's called local variables. These local variables are only accessed within that function. This local variable belongs to only F1 function. Inside the F1 function only we can access, but outside the F1 function it is not possible. It's not possible. Okay, so you can't access a variable in F2. At the same time, you can't access B variable in F1. This is called local variables. We can say that inside the function, whatever the variables we declare, that variables we can able to access within the same functions only. Otherwise it will give error. So this kind of things is local variable, we can say that. Understand? So this is completely local variables are. Global variables means what? This is global variables. Now you can see I'm creating global variables. A equals to 10. The variable which are declared outside the function, and that variable is available to access in all the functions of the program. Here F1 is available to access, F2 also is available to access a value. Now you can see F1 I'm calling, F2 I'm calling. So clearly this is called global variable. So A is a global variable here. Understand? Global variable 10 and 10. Now there is a concept called global keyword also. Yes, global keyword we can use. There is a keyword called global keyword. When do we use this global keyword? I'm going to tell you, strictly remember now. So global keyword can be used to make global variable available to a particular function for required modification. I'm saying required modification. Yes. When do we use global keywords? Are the global keyword can be used to make global variable available to a particular function. For what purpose? Required modification. You may get doubt, sir, it is global variable. Okay, global variable. Okay, is this available? No, sir. It is available to F1 function, it is available to F2 function. But again, why it is available to make? Yes, I'm saying clearly, observe here. Global keyword can be used to make global variable available to particular function. For what purpose? Required modification. Required modification means, can't we use like this, sir? Now you can see this. If I'm using A equals to 99, no, it's a local. First preference is local actually here. You can see A equals to 99, A equals to 99. Okay, you can see print A. So 99 is preference here. When we call F1 function, it's going to be 99. And when we go for F2 function, it will be 10 only. Understand? Yes. But my requirement is not like this. Obviously, first local preference, then later global preference. My requirement is what? I want to make available this global variable value inside the f1 function to required modification means global A, then A equals to 99. Now this time we can see this global variable value 10 is become 99 inside the particular function I'm trying to modify the value. Once you try to modify the value 99, 99 will be print here, and remaining later if you call the function f2, f2 also will change 99, because once we change the global variable value, it will be continue with other functions also will affect. Yes, global variable value. But now observe here, whenever I'm calling this f2 function first, observe the result. Calling is also important. I'm calling f2 function first. When we call f2 function first, f2 function will depend on global variable value 10. And when we call f1 function later, and it will take what? 99. So the result will be changed. Now we can see this 10 and 99. Understand? The calling is very important here. So for this purpose, we can use global keyword. When do we use global keyword? Already we have a global variable value, but still if you want to modify this global variable value inside one particular function, then for that purpose we can use global keyword. Global keyword we can say that. So that's what we are using, global keyword, clearly. So now you can see global keyword we can use like this. But one more important thing I want to tell you clearly, just wait. Sir, what happens if global variable value and local variable name same? Global variable name and local variable name is same. Now you can see global variable and local variable. This is local variable. Global variable and local variable. Now let's run this now, sir. What is happening here? A value 10, B value 10. But you are thinking like this, A value 10 global value. No, first local preference only it will come. Okay, local preference. For example, 100 is there, A value. Now you can see A value 100, B value, F2 value 10 value. But my requirement is what, if the local variable name and global variable name is same, but I want to access global variable value here also. This A I want to make global variable value. Is it possible? Directly it's not possible. How many times you are printing A, that many times you are getting only 100 only, because this local only value preference. But now I want to make global variable access, then we can use globals function. Globals of A means this print statement will bring the data of global value 10. This print A bring the data is 100 value, local value, and F2 function undoubtedly it will bring the value called global variable value. Understand? So if local variable name and global variable name is same, if you want to access global variable value inside the function, then globals function of A, that means it represents the global variable value 10 value, and now it is obviously 100 value, it's coming like this. Okay, and F2 function obviously depends on global variable value only, no problem at all. And one more important thing I want to say you, sir, you can see we don't have any global variable value. Inside the F1 function only I'm declaring global A equals to 100, print A. Is it going to be access F2 function also? F2 function also, is it possible to access? Yes, undoubtedly, no problem at all. So this is also correct, no problem at all. What is the data type of globals? Of data type is not that is function actually here. It's a function actually, not a data type. Okay, it's a function. Globals is a function, it's not a data type. Now you can see F1, F2. Inside the F1 only I declare global variable value 100, then F2 also it is applicable. Once we make the global, that is continuous process, that will available for further functions also, it's okay, no problem at all. But whenever you call F2 function first, now this time you can see this, I'm calling F2 function. Now you can see when we run this F2 function, Now F2 function is don't have any variable name not defined, so that's what it is not printing. Okay, so if you print something here, a value 700 or 77, then F2 function is depending on its own local variable value, and F1 function is depending on 100 value, like this. I mean, a is a variable name. It's a variable name. If you want to know this type of, now you can see this, it's an integer type, that's it. Now you can see I'm executing this program. Now what type it is? Integer type only. Based on the value, data type will be decided. No problem at all. 100. Okay. So this is what local variables and global variables what we discuss. So that's all about today. And today what we discuss basics of functions and what are the types of variables are there. Okay. But I'm giving one simple task to you. You can try with this task. So I'm giving the task is like this. Create functions for arithmetic operations like what? Add, subtract, multiply, division by accepting values at runtime and accept choice from user if choice equals to 1. If choice equals to 1, then add. If choice equals to 1, then we can call add function. If choice equals to 2, then we can add subtract function, we can call. If choice equals to 3, then multiply. Choice equals to 4, then division, we can say that. You have to do this. So I'm copying and pasting this task to in the chat box. You can get it here. So my requirement is what? You just prepare the functions. What functions? 4 functions you have to prepare. And that too you have to accept two values at runtime. For adding, subtracting, multiplication, 2 values is enough. And that to accept the choice from the user. If user entered choice is 1, you should call only add function. If user entered choice is 2, you should call only sub function. If user choice is 3, multiply. User choice is 4, division. Like this you have to use. Same thing only. Okay. So this is choice I'm doing now. So you can able to do this task. If not, tomorrow I'll tell you clearly what kind of operations, how you can able to do proper way. This example I'll discuss in tomorrow. So that's all about today.